get out of there so I'm not double talking. Okay, welcome everyone. So we have right now, we have Professor Betsy, and we have Campbell Rutherford, a teacher intern, and Nate Kyle as our moderator. He is tech specialist, and Nate Kyle is our moderator. So if you have a question as we're presenting and you want us to just answer that right there, you can all H to your chat box and type in the question. At the end of, so each one of us are going to do something slightly different. We're going to build on each other as we're teaching. So you have a variety of people who are teaching. You will have the opportunity to unmute yourselves, and you can unmute yourselves with Alt-A or Alt-M, and you can ask a question and then remute yourself on that. So can everyone see my screen? You don't have to say yes. If you cannot see my screen, say no, and Nate will tell me so. I'm going to go ahead and minimize on this. And Professor Betsy and Campbell and Nate, please go ahead and turn off your videos, Alt-V, and I will start my JAWS. Right off the bat, before you start talking software or your screen readers, and we've just seen more issues with this than ever, that if you're actually actively in your program, let's say your screen reader starts saying blank, 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 and just not reading well, you can always try insert escape to refresh it. But when it doesn't work, minimize absolutely everything and then start your JAWS. So I'm going to just Windows M, or you can Windows D and minimize, and then I'm going to go ahead and start my JAWS. I am using JAWS 2021.
JAWS Zoom.
January update.
Webinar plan.docs-word. To move to an item, press the.
Okay, let me go ahead and turn off my video also. Oh, actually, I'm going to aim it down on the Braille display. So what I actually did is I flipped my Braille display upside down. And if you can read Braille upside down and you're visual, then you'll actually see the Nemeth code come up perfectly on your Braille display. I'm using a Focus 40, and it has 3 different modes. If you do G.7 and space,
Laura Merwin has left the meeting.
You will have on for display, which is going to put out the Nemeth code perfectly, and you're going to have on for input, and that's how you actually input it. And that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to go ahead and Control Home.
Top. If TVI connects their Braille display in tandems with student, they can see everything on the display that the student is. So
especially with virtual instruction, the advantage of this is you can put a Braille display on, and when you connect them with JAWS Tandem, and if you're not sure what I'm talking about, all these videos that I'm talking about are on our YouTube site. Anyway, you can actually see the Braille directly on the Braille display, and you can immediately correct that. So whether it's math or reading and writing, it really is phenomenal. First thing we're going to do is we're going to set our autocorrect options. So you can get rid of all that magic. I'm going to tell you the commands, and then I'm going to do it so JAWS is not competing with me. I'm going to do Alt-F to file. I'm going to go T to
official driving has left the meeting.
And then I'm going to do, yeah, okay, I'm going to have to, that extra audio is really going to throw me off. Anyway, I'm going to hit P for proofing, and then Alt-A to my
Lana Idle has left the meeting.
Here we go.
Alt-F menu, home. To move through items, press up or down arrow. Alt-T. Webinar plan.docs-P, proofing.
And then Alt-A.
Alt-A. Replace colon edit. Type in text. Alt+R. Left parent C, right parent. Copy.
Okay. First page, autocorrect. Shift tab twice and uncheck all 5 of those boxes.
Math autocorrect tab selected to switch pages.
Now I'm going to hush them up. Math autocorrect options. If you tab into
Emily Stevenson has left the meeting.
All of those commands, and you're going to learn LaTeX is started with backslashes. And all these commands are actually right here in your math autocorrect. That's just a side note. Control tab.
Auto format as you
Auto format as you type. This is where you need to tab about 8 times and uncheck the box that is automatic numbered lists. You do not want, because if you type a number and automatically inputs, it really throws the student off.
Escape, edit.
Okay, here we are. So
doing set autocorrect option misspelled LaTeX blank.
Okay.
Lana Idle has entered the waiting room for this meeting. Press F basic math from keyboard.
Okay, so here I'm going to be teaching basically elementary math, where you should begin with students. everything that I'm doing, everyone can do right now. So if you're working with just sighted kids, this works phenomenally also. Now, our students use Abacus. So of course, when they're young, they're going to go ahead and do the math problems, use the Abacus to add. If you are a sighted teacher and want to know how to do this, this is exactly how you do it, except you're going to use whatever manipulatives to teach them. So let's go ahead and do this.
Use insert 1 plus 2 equals 3.
Okay, I'm just going to hit my
End. Blank. Space.
and show you how to do all this. So
1.
With blind children, you really need to teach them spaces in between your symbols.
None. Characters. Words. Both characters and words.
Okay, both my characters and words were not on, so I just did a quick insert 2, so it's going to start saying everything.
Plus. Space. 2. Equals. Space. 3.
Okay, that's it. That's how you do it. That's how easy it is. Let's go ahead and go down.
4 and dash 3 equals 1.
Okay, so n dash, when the kids hear n dash, and I actually turned this off, so it's just going to say dash now. It just means it's increasing the size of the dash, and the kids learn that very quickly. Okay, so let's go ahead and just type this out.
Cheryl, dollar. Space.
Whoops, there's
Space.
a dollar on that one.
4.
Yeah, $4.
4.
There we
5.
go.
Undo.
There's the
dollar.
yeah, doing webinars and having audio feedback
4.
from other people. Okay, space.
Dash. Space. 3. Equals. Space.
Okay.
1.
Once again, really easy. Now, here's where your insert 4 comes in. If you do not know this, this is a screen reader command.
5 times 4 equals 20. Space.
And it also reads perfectly. So the teacher can do up a whole bunch
From
of
Samar
math,
Saxena to everyone.
and then they, of course, can go ahead and send that to the math to the student in email. Student can open it and do the math just like all their other
2 people.
students. Okay, so here we go.
5.
Now insert 4. I'm in laptop mode, so I'm using my caps lock.
Select a symbol to print dialog. List 1 lamb. Multiply symbol 27 to 49.
Apply symbol.
Print edit. Space.
And
4.
okay.
Equals. Space. 2. 0. 20.
Really easy. Now let's do the divide
6
symbol.
divided by 4 equals 2. Space.
And it reads perfectly.
Caret.
Oops.
Caret.
Sorry about that.
6.
Insert 4.
Select a symbol to print dialog. D. Dagger left parent. D. Dagger left parent single right. D. Degrees. D. Divide symbol 13. Print edit.
Okay.
Space. 4. Equals.
And you guys get that.
96 degrees.
96
Space.
degrees. So insert 4 also.
9. 6. 96. Select a symbol to D. Dagger left parent. D. Dagger. D. Degrees 12 of. Print edit.
Okay.
Space. From Maria Anderson to everyone. $5.45.
And the dollars. So they can do all their dollars and cents.
Plus space.
Everybody should know that the dollar sign
Jill Birch has left the waiting room.
is shift 4 right off the bat. But the
Jill Birch has joined the meeting.
people don't know that.
0.6 cents. Space.
That also is used with insert 4. So of course,
Period. Space. 6.
Insert 4.
Select a symbol to print dialog. C. Cedilla 6 of 49. C. Cents 8 of 40. Print
Okay.
edit.
So the insert 4 is incredibly advantageous. Right there, you've just handled most of your math with your students. So the TBI, this is just phenomenal for virtual. We, of course, have been doing this for decades, but it's just really wonderful. Now, the next is the text editor in Word. It's never really been accessible, but it is. It has been. It's really great.
Blank.
So you no longer need to buy MathType until the students really need it, and they will need it around middle school. So we're going to actually use the text editor using Alt equals, and let's go ahead and go down and read our first problem.
Alt equals and fractions : 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4.
Right off the bat, you
Rebecca
can
Bestman
hear
left the meeting.
how perfect that is. So let me show you how to do that.
End equation.
You always do need to hit the end of the equation.
Enter.
Okay, so if you do Alt equals without putting the number there, it's automatically going to center everything. So I'm going to do the goof, and I'm going to show you how to correct it. Alt equals.
Alt equals selected. TYPEEQUTION.
And it opens the text editor, but it centers it. If you do that goof, you can go ahead and do Control L.
Aligned left.
And immediately left align it. When you want to show the punctuation indicator, which the child needs to learn, you're going to go ahead and do 1
period. Space.
period, and it will actually come up on the braille display. Okay, and which is really great, so they can learn that.
Space.
So let's go ahead and do the fractions.
1/2
half
plus
plus
space 1/4.
4. And visually, you can instantly see this go from horizontal positioning into spatial positioning.
Equals space.
Which is the way all the math books are. This is the way all the sighted students are doing their math, especially the more advanced students. This is just how they do it. And
3/4.
beautiful. And you're going to go ahead and
Enter.
click on that, and then up arrow and listen.
1 and 1/2 plus 1/4 equals 3/4.
And this is where I want you to listen to. I'm going to right arrow through all of this, and you're going to hear end numerator, end denominator.
Dot math content, space, 1/2, 1, end numerator, 2, end denominator, plus, 1/4, 1, end numerator, 4, end denominator, equals, 3/4, 3, end numerator, 4, end denominator, end equation.
Right off the bat, all the sighted kids, of course, can do that. They don't have to worry about what they're listening to. It just makes perfect math right from the get-go, all ages. Okay, I'm not going to go ahead and do another one because I think you get that.
Blank. 1, blank, blank. Grouping M dash using spaces correctly is everything, colon left parent 1/2 left end equation.
So,
Enter.
we're going to do grouping now, and doing the correct spaces is absolutely critical. Now, if you do not want to have to keep left aligning, all you have to do is number
1 period, space.
And when you do alt equals, it automatically pops in for you correctly to the left.
Alt equals selected. TYPEEQUATIONA.
Here we go. We're going to go ahead and put our parent in there. So left parent.
Left parent.
And 1/2.
1/2.
Now, visually, watch what happens as soon as I hit the space bar. Okay? It immediately puts it in the half. If you do not put your space bar in there, the fraction will not come out correctly. It will join itself to the x plus 1. So I'm going to go ahead and do left parent.
Left parent.
And then x plus
1. Right parent. Right parent.
And again,
enter.
And immediately.
From Nathaniel cut 1. Left pair period. Space. Equation comma open parent bold.
Hey, you had a question?
I was just someone had asked about doing this keystroke on a Mac.
I actually
F4 now through the Windows offers the.
I've got to believe they do. Professor Betsy, do you have an answer on that one? I should have pulled my Mac out and tried this on.
What was the question? I didn't understand.
If
insert F4 to do this particular process on a Mac.
I don't know.
Oh, no. Insert F4. Yeah, no, not on that one. Insert F4 is a JAWS command. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that's going to close JAWS.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about the Mac.
Yeah, but I believe you can do MathType on Mac. And I
maybe do a command equals.
I don't know about the alt equals. I should have. As soon as I can guarantee you, as soon as this webinar is done, I'm going to go try it out on my Mac. Yeah. The reason why we use PCs are open source, so you can add absolutely everything to it and more than you've ever even thought possible.
Adrienne Shoemaker has left the meeting.
Macs are closed systems. You
From
can
Maria
do a
Anderson.
lot, but you can only do what Mac will allow it. It's a closed system. So if you have 1,000 people, you can have 1,000 people with
Currently unmuted.
I think Dr. Anderson has a question.
Yes.
I've hit this before. I think what we have to assume here is that all of our blind students will have Windows plus JAWS. I don't know if we can make that assumption, but I guess we have to in order to do this, right?
I will say, and Denise, you can chime in. Some school districts are going to be Mac only. Some are going to be Chromebook, and some of these keystrokes that we're looking at today are cross compatible with Chromebook. But the one thing I think to keep in mind as an overall principle is that as we do work with students and we do move them towards the workforce, we see that Windows-based computers are still what's predominantly used in the workforce. Highest level of, and so this.
Your internet connection is unstable. Zoom Alt V video mouse stopped. Webinar plan dot work from me to everyone.
Yeah, so we lost some audio there, but I heard most of what Nate was saying. What we actually do is when we go to a school and they have a particular, whether they're Mac-based or Chromebook-based, we actually immediately ask them to buy the appropriate tools for the student. because we're always thinking long term. You never want to think, what does this kid just need right now? You want to think, what does this student need for tomorrow? And since most businesses are PC based, we want to prepare them for their future.
Amy Bishop.
Now, if they want to learn Mac along with that when they're in high school, or if we get them and they've already started a Mac, yes, we will continue to teach them on the Mac, but not as much as a PC. What the student immediately realizes within a week is the PC does so much more than that Mac. Now, then they'll go and they'll do guitar, bass, they'll do music, they'll do other fun audio things with the Mac. But basically, when it gets to the work, they will use their PC.
From Eve to Ev.
And students are actively making that decision. But we want to prepare these kids forever. And if they want to add other tools to that as they move along, that's absolutely fine. But we absolutely want to teach them a primary skill, and that's going to be PC. Good question, but that's what we do, is we go into the districts, we advocate for these kids right off the bat.
Excuse me, I think Nate might...
Was there another question there?
I'm unmuted now.
Oh, there you are, Nate. Do you have another question?
No.
Okay. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and I turned off my video also because of the bandwidth issue.
Webinar plan .docs-word. Karen Pullman says enter the waiting room for.
Okay.
One.
Moving down now.
Land. Grouping M dash using 1. Left parent 1 half left parent X plus 1 right parent right parent.
And as everyone can hear, this just reads absolutely perfectly. And of course, when Professor Betsy does this and Campbell, you're going to see the
Karen Pullman and equation. Enter.
Okay. Let's go down.
Land. Karen Pullman says joins the meeting. Caret superscript c squared plus b squared equals a squared or control shift equals.
Okay, so let's do that. Really basic. C squared plus b squared equals a squared. You can also do superscript with your control and shift. And until this editor was really accessible, that's actually what we did. So I'm just going to hit and quickly do
space
9. If I do control shift equals, I can put it 2. Okay.
Control shift equals.
So that's a really quick way to do superscript. But as you start teaching your students
left the waiting room.
How to do the LaTeX, get into MathType when they're going to do that, then you're going to go ahead and do your alt equals. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So I'm going to do another 2.
Period. Space.
I'm going to go ahead and do alt equals.
Alt equals.
And let's go ahead and just do that. So
C.
The caret now is going to be your superscript.
Caret.
And 2.
Plus. Space.
And visually, you can see this change occurring as we're moving along.
Caret.
And you'll hear it in just a second.
2. Plus. Space. Amy.c.
Oh, I did that wrong. I need an equal.
Bold plus. Equals. Space.
Okay. There we go.
Caret. 2.
Okay. And
enter.
Okay. And up.
2. C squared plus b squared equals a squared.
Okay, and it just reads perfectly. And of course, if I write arrow through it.
Period. Space. Equation, comma, bold italic c to the bold 2 plus bold italic b to the bold 2 equals bold italic a period. To the bold italic end base. Bold 2. End superscript.
And it tells you as you're moving through. What's also nice about this is the student can easily get in here and they can change anything right away. It continues to stay the perfect editor. Okay?
2. Land.
Let's go ahead and go down to the next one.
Underline subscript colon H sub 2 or left parent control equals right parent.
Okay, so H2O, we can hit your end key.
Space.
Now, control equals is also subscript, so we could do H and O, and I always teach them everything, so they can do whatever they want to.
Control equals 2.
2, turn it off.
Control equals.
And
O.
H2O, perfect.
Land. Underline subscript colon H sub 2 or left parent control equals right parent H subscript 2 and subscript O.
And it tells you however you're doing it. But if you want to use your editor, well, you already have the idea how to do your editor. So let's go ahead and do 3.
Period. Space.
Alt
equals selected. TYPEEQUT
H underscore. So you're going to do shift underscore.
Underline.
And you're going to
from Martin to 2.
And then you're going to go ahead and if you hit space, it immediately does that for you. And then you're going to do shift O.
Enter.
Enter. Beautiful.
3. H sub 2O.
H sub 2O.
Period. Space.
Let's go ahead.
Land. Backslash misspelled neck 4 not equal to 6.
Yeah, we ignore them.
End. Land.
Okay, so back to the backslash, and Professor Betsy's going to show more of that. So we're going to hit enter down here, and we're going to go ahead and do
4, period, space.
And alt equals.
Alt equals selected. TYPEEQUTIONHERE dot backslash.
Backslash. So this is going to begin some of the negatives because they are going to have not equal to.
M graphic. M.
Let's try that again.
M.
Oh, I'm loving my
N.
fun today.
E.
Q. And see, now I already forgot to put the 4 there, but I immediately left arrow into it, and I realized I forgot the 4 is not equal to, and I can
end equation.
And then I can go ahead and
Q math content. End equation. 4 graphic 6. Enter.
Sorry, nerves.
And 4 air period space space NEQ 6
space in there.
Space autocorrect colon not equal to not equal to.
That space is critical, but look how easy it is to edit it when you goof. No big deal.
Land example a subpage 2 land.
Okay. So I'm actually going to, I think you guys are getting the idea of this. Angles, let me just quickly show you how to do geometry. So easy. And we're going to go ahead and do
alt equals selected TYPEEQUTI backslash from the ANGLE angle autocorrect A B C ABC enter 5 angle ABC.
Okay. So
table 2 3 row 3 of 5
is calculators. So square root. So once the students get into calculators and doing square roots.
2 row 2 of 5.
So I'm going to hit N key here. Oh, that's right.
Square root left parent square root right column 3 no title. Land.
So the students need to do this. So I immediately have them open the
search CAL calculator app. Press right to switch cal. Enter calculator scientific calculator mode. Display is 0.
And you do need to be in scientific calculator mode. And the square root is going to be the @ sign. So I'm going to alt tab.
Webinar plan docs dash word to move to an item. Press the arrow keys. Table 1 non-uniform table.
Okay. So let's go ahead and do your alt equals.
Alt equals.
And you're going to go ahead and put your
backslash SQRT.
And we want a square root.
SQRT auto 2.
Okay. Now, what you're going to do, whether you pop out of here or not, I'm going to go ahead and do square root of 2 equals.
Space.
And you're going to
calculator to move to an item. Press the arrow keys. Calculator.
And you're going to do 2.
Square root 1.41421356223.
What's nice about having this calculator versus a handheld, they need to learn both, is you can directly copy this. So I'm going to do a Control C.
Copied. Display value copied to clipboard. Webinar plan docs dash word. Edit page 2.
Control V and paste. Now you don't want all those numbers, so you're going to Control Shift left arrow.
The square root of 2 equals 1.4142. The square root of 2 equals the square root of 2 equals 1.
Delete, and you're just back to 1.41. So that's how easy it is to combine the calculator in with the math as the students advance in their math skills. So that's just a really nice way to do that. And I'm not going to show you
5 out of backland
because we're going to run out of time.
Backslash pi.
Oh, we love pi. Okay, so pi r squared. I think you guys are already getting this. So alt equals.
Alt equals selected.
And of course, you're going to just do your
backslash pi. Enter autocorrect colon italic small pi.
Beautiful. Okay. Now,
and word alt N land.
You don't have to do all your formulas. So when you're
Joel Peterson has left the waiting room.
You can actually get these equations really fast. So let's do alt N.
Alt N upper ribbon E.
And
leaving menus equation list binomial theorem button.
Ooh, binomial theorem. Now, Professor Betsy's actually going to show you how to type some of these out, which are going to be really great. Oh, let's do the quadratic formula.
Expand Fourier's Pythagorean quadratic formula button.
Oh, yeah, and enter.
Edit page 2.
And it instantaneously puts it in there for the student so they don't have to type it all out also.
Equals math content, fraction, minus, b, plus or minus, square root of comma, b squared minus 4 a period, c, b squared, b, and base, 2, and superscript, minus, 4, a period, c, and root, and numerator, 2, a period, and denominator. Okay,
and it tells you all of that. So that is just really, really slick. So you do have a lot of those right in Word already for you. So the student doesn't have to spend a lot of time typing those out. So the next thing is a lot of students are using Google. That's not so much of a college issue because so many of them are using Office, and actually all our colleges use Office. So it's transitioning to your students to Office also. So that's going to be another huge thing. Make sure our students are know Office before they graduate school.
Using Google : link hyperlink field hotel.
I made this a hyperlink, so let's
enter. Using Google : link misspelled LaTeX link math Untitled personal Microsoft Edge $$ LaTeX and docs screen readers.
I'm going to hush them up. What Professor Betsy is going to show you is all of LaTeX starts and ends with a $sign. When you're in Google, all you have to do is $2 at the start and 2 at the end. So let's go ahead and listen to some of these.
New line. $C caret 2 equals a caret 2 plus B caret 2 $. New line. $backslash frac left brace 2 plus 3 right brace left brace 3 dash Y right brace $.
Okay. Now, what's really nice is the student can go through in Google and they can go ahead and type out all of their math. You don't have to render one problem at a time. And this is true in Word also. So I'm going to go ahead and render.
From Martin to everyone, that's what I thought, but doesn't seem to be working with my version of Word.
You will probably have to change some of the settings on that. So just hang here for a minute. So you do need to add MathType in here in LaTeX. So let me go up to my add-in right now with Alt-N.
Alt-N, menu, add -ons, 7 of 9. To move through document, add -ons, auto-LaTeX equations, black right, start, 1 of 2. Your internet connection is unstable.
So it's going to tell me my auto-LaTeX equations, and I need to start it. So I'm going to hit Enter.
Enter, leaving menus, frame.
And give it a second, and it will open.
Auto-LaTeX equations region, frame, $LaTeX and docs, $Google Docs, $LaTeX and docs, $Google Docs.
Okay, and a separate navigation pane opens, and I'm going to have to tab to render equations. So let's tab and listen.
Main region, frame, combo box, font size 12. To change the selection, use the arrow key.
That's a combo box. It usually is on automatic. It's not that great, so you can just down arrow, and I usually select 12 since that's typically
and force, show advanced settings, render equations button to activate, press enter. 2 people of enter.
Okay, I'm going to hit enter, and it's going to render all of these into perfect formulas. Once you do this, it is no longer accessible. And also when you're in Word, we highly suggest doing all your math in Word and then uploading into Docs. Once again, it totally renders it inaccessible once it changes it to images.
Enter auto-LaTeX equations. Unmuted, Alt plus.
It's Denise. I was hearing everyone else.
Well, we'll give her a moment to get back on there. And Betsy, on the math symbols, to bring those up in Word, are you pressing insert 4 on the number row?
No.
What
No,
are you
I don't.
pressing?
I don't do all of those.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is text in Word and show
Okay.
how all of the math renders in that way and how accessible it is.
Well, someone had that question, and so I don't know if maybe. I think
I'm
Denise
back.
is trying to come back on.
I'm back.
Okay.
Okay? There you go.
And so, really quick question, Dr. Denise, on
Yeah.
insert 4 is what typically brings up the math symbols in Word.
It will. Yeah, it does.
And we have a gentleman on here, Martin, who said that is not working for him.
If you're using your numpad, don't use your numpad. You must use the numbers above your QWERTY keys. Try that.
Correct. And we hear you loud and clear now, so welcome back.
Thanks. I know. Isn't that great? Right in the middle of a webinar. Yeah, let's disconnect. My network just completely shut down. It did not like it when I rendered all I'm not sure when you guys lost me. I was in the middle of rendering. Did you guys at least get to me rendering all the equations into actual problems?
I did not. I think you blacked out, and it was just complete silence.
Okay.
$LaTeX and docs, $dash.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. Robinson. So thank you for joining us at our math webinar on the 18th. That was really great. But as all you know that were there, my computer disconnected right at the very end of what I was telling you about LaTeX in Docs. So I'm going to fill that information in before Professor Betsy comes on. So I've opened Docs, and the difference between LaTeX in Docs and in Word is there's $2 signs on it. So let me go ahead and Control Home.
Top, $LaTeX and docs, dash Google Docs and one more page, dash personal, dash Microsoft.
I'm just going to hush them up. So what is nice, and this is true about Word also, is the student can go ahead and do all the configurations out. They do not have to render the math problem one at a time. And that is what I'm going to do. So I have typed out all the math codes in here, and I'm going to render all of this into perfect, beautiful math very quickly. I've added on MathType, which you have to do. I'm going to go ahead and do Alt-N now to add-ons.
Alt-N, $LaTeX and docs, dash Google. Document that. Auto-LaTeX equations, black right.
Okay, so I down arrow to LaTeX equations, and I'm going to hit Enter.
Enter. Start, 1 of 2.
and I need to start. So I'm going to hit enter, and on the right, an extra navigation pane opens, and I'm going to tab to render it, and it's going to take all this code, this LaTeX code, and it's going to turn it into perfect math.
Enter. Leaving menus. Frame. Auto-LaTeX equations region. Frame. $LaTeX and docs. $Google Docs.
Okay. I'm going to hush him up because he is going to be talking a lot. I'm going to go ahead and tab through and get to render equations.
Main region. Frame. Combo. Show advanced setting. Render equations button to activate. Press enter. Space. Auto-LaTeX equations.
Now, you do have to wait a little bit. I have quite a few problems in here, so it's just going to take less than a minute, but this day and age, that seems like forever. And we have absolutely beautiful math. Now, this is not accessible anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and shift tab to my close button. The great thing is if you go back and you just realize that you typed something wrong or you need to add, you can tab to de-render all equations, and it will put back all the code so you can go ahead and make the tweaks that you want to make and then go ahead and render them again. So I'm going to shift tab to close.
Show advanced combo box. Main region. Close sidebar but space. Frame.
Okay. And I instantly pop back, but now you're going to hear or not hear what it says.
Link start image link and new line.
Yep, there you go. Link start image.
New line.
Okay, anyway, so the images do not read, but it is beautiful, perfect math, and then of course, Alt F to file.
Alt F document read only application. Share S 1 of 16.
Share, and of course enter, type in the teacher's email, and it is good to go. So you can render it, de-render it, and of course if you do, and it's probably easiest, Professor Betsy probably agrees with this also, do all the math out in Word, and then go ahead and upload it to Docs, and then share it out. And last but not least, all of our information from Professor Betsy and Campbell and myself is in the links below, below this YouTube in the description. So if you're a screen reader user, you can just pull up your links and hit H for the HTTPS. And if you're sighted, you can go ahead and see the visual link. You can click on it, and you'll be able to download all of our math information so you can go ahead and practice it. And also, all of this is on yourtechvision.com, so you can easily go there and download all the information also. And once again, thank you for joining us at our webinar yesterday. It did. It disconnected me fully. Okay, so everybody actually if you're visual, you can see these beautiful, beautiful problems in Google Docs. And that's when the computer disconnected me. If you did not see me, go to add-ons,
menu to move through items, press up or down arrow. Document add dash onza 1 of 7. Auto dash LaTeX equation sub menu 2 of 7. Okay. Start 1 of 2.
And it opens a side panel, and I tab to render equations. Once these become visual menus, images, they truly are images, and you cannot render them. You have to de-render them. I'm not going to hit de-render, which is directly underneath render equations, just in case it decides to disconnect me again. It does take a lot of power, I'm going to tell you. It literally takes a whole minute to do that. In our lifetime, of course, it takes forever. But if I up arrow, you're going to hear it doesn't.
New line. Link start image link and new line.
That's it.
New line.
Yeah.
Link start image link and new line. Link start image link and McCann Swenson has left the meeting.
So it won't, once you render them into perfect math, you can no longer access them anymore. And when you're in Word, you really want to do all your work in Word and then upload it to Google and then hand it in if your school is a Google school. Okay? Any questions?
Zoom. $LaTeX and docs dash Google Docs dash personal dash Microsoft meeting controls. Meeting controls.
And I think I lost everybody.
Context menu to navigate, press up or down arrow. Chat left parent to right parent, Alt plus H. From Nathaniel Kyle to everyone, what are you pressing for the insert key, and are you on the desktop keyboard or a laptop? Leaving menus, meeting controls, context menu to navigate, press up or down arrow. Chat left parent 3 right parent, Alt plus H. Michelle Marginau has left the meeting.
We're here.
I still hear you.
We're all here, Denise.
Yeah, really? Okay. I'm actually only showing, so my computer is doing some really funny things. Okay, I'm going to
Do you want to take a moment? Are you able to restart, or is that going to cancel
No,
out?
no. I'm
the-
actually
the-
done with this part. Professor Betsy's going to take over, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing.
Liz McDonald enters the waiting room. Liz M.
And,
Meeting
and then
controls.
Professor Betsy is going to take
Context
over.
menu to navigate. Press up.
And if
Select the
anyone
window or an
needs to know
application that you
how
want to share.
to quiet
computer
their
sound.
Zoom alerts,
Liz McDonald escape.
then you
Meeting control.
would press an Alt Windows S, and then you won't hear when everyone's
McDonald joined.
leaving the room or sending chat messages. And again, that's Alt Windows S. And that will silence your Zoom alerts from speaking through your JAWS.
Okay, Professor Betsy, I should be done with my share screen, and I'll let you go ahead and share screen and take over.
Janet has entered the
Okay.
waiting room. This meeting. Audio setting. Zoom my video. Window setting. More meeting. Leave. Alt plus meeting and turn off or select the microphone option. Mute button. Mute. Audio set. Start my video. Alt video setting. More meeting control.
Where is
button.
it?
Leave. Alt plus meeting information button.
Be nice to find it.
Turn off originals. Select the microphone to on YouTube button.
Just go ahead and do an Alt S.
No,
Ms.
First,
so
Betsy.
we know it doesn't
computer-
work like that.
Yeah, her computer works a little bit
Video
differently.
setting. More meeting controls button menu.
Where is it?
Leave. Alt plus meeting information button. Turn off origin. Select the microphone to always use on YouTube button drop down.
I'm on YouTube, and it doesn't.
Yeah,
Mute. Currently unmuted.
try your insert 3 bypass key through, and then Alt S.
No, I think it didn't work, but
Enter key
I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to go.
Share left parent
Oh,
alt
there we
plus
go.
shift plus
There
S
you
right
go.
parent button.
You got it.
Select
Good
the window
job.
or an basic tab check select. Sharing list box. Press arrow key to navigate the list semicolon. Press control plus shift plus space to select multiple windows list box screen. Share your no share left basic tab. Sharing list box. Share sound checkbox not checked. Checked. Optimize for share screen button. No share left parent alt.
Okay, I think we have it.
Yep, and you can Alt tab to Word, and you're good to go.
Okay, thank you. I'm Betsy Doan. I am a professor of mathematics and computer science at Housatonic Community College, now retired, and happily retired. I've been teaching for over 50 years. I teach sighted students, but as a totally blind professor, one of the things that I worked to do, of course, was worry about how to properly write mathematics. And I started with an electronic typewriter or electric typewriter. I used these typets, which were symbols, and I had to actually put in a symbol for every single thing I wanted to do. If I did something like a superscript, the roller had to be rolled up 1/2 space. A subscript, I did transparencies. I used the projector and screen and had students up at the blackboard doing problems and saying what they write. All this has wonderfully changed. Of course, not the student interaction. We always want that. But in terms of presentation, we can obviously use computers, and it's all good. Okay, there are pros and cons. Well, I'll talk about the pros and cons later. Dr. Denise used the Microsoft Word editor. I'm going to use MathType. Just one moment.
Zoom. Examples MathWebinar.docs-word. Examples math.
Okay, I'm just going to,
Blank. Blank.
let me write it down here. Whoops.
THAM.
MathType is designed by Whereas. The editor, the Microsoft editor, is a subset of the Whereas editor. And MathType uses LaTeX. It's spelled L-A-T-E-X, but we say LaTeX, and it's L-A-T-E. Well, I don't know. I've seen it in a few ways. And that is a text-based language in which mathematics can be rendered. Now, why bother to learn this? Well, I'm recommending that students who begin high school or as they advance in their mathematics work use MathType, because when they get to college, they'll be using learning management systems, and those systems use some version of LaTeX. Particularly Blackboard, I'll show you that in a few minutes, does some wonderful things, and Canvas does as well. So it's important for that reason. The other reason is, as you saw with Dr. Robinson's presentation, the space was critical in terms of sizing. And as you get more advanced in the work, we don't have to worry about the size because MathType will take care of it all. Now, just a short word about it. When you install it, you must make sure that you allow in Word, you allow macros. Got to do it, or it won't translate. And let's see, is there anything else? No, we're just going to start. I have some examples written, and I will present the example, and then I will show you the code and explain the structure, so it will be easy to remember. So I'll go up to the top here.
Top of file. Examples math.
Just a minute.
Title is examples math. The cube
Here
root
we
of
go.
the square. 3 plus 5 over fraction 3.
Let's get up
Top
here.
of file. Examples math. F left parent x right parent equals x squared plus 1.
Okay, f of x equals x squared plus 1. All right, now I'm going to highlight that.
F left parent x right parent equals
gonna
x squared
do-
plus
Oh, you know what? If I do that, it messes it up. One moment.
F left parent blank. F left parent x right parent equals x squared plus 1. Selected.
Okay, now I'm going to do a command that we're going to use a lot, and it is a toggle command. That is, it reverses action. It's Alt backslash. The Alt backslash will change it from the graphic to the code. Okay, and now listen.
Selected. $F left parent x right parent equals x caret 2 plus $1.
You notice, let's come back.
$F left parent x right parent equals x caret 2 plus $1.
It began with $1 and ended with $1. All right, now that's pretty easy. I wanted to start there.
Fraction.
Okay, and I know that Dr. Robinson did a fraction. I'm going to do this one again, and then I'll go to other structures.
Fraction comma 3 comma over x plus
All
5
right.
3 plus fraction 3 over x plus 5 minus fraction 2 over x minus 1.
Okay, you notice Jaws said fraction minus the fraction. Wonderful. So the student, there is no doubt about what that is. We'll translate it. And
Backslash F R A C.
okay, now for those of
Charlie.
you who know Braille, the backslash FRAC is like the open fraction indicator in Braille. The numerator goes in braces, the denominator goes in braces, and you're done. So it's backslash FRAC brace.
Left brace 3 right brace left brace
Immediately after the numerator, you put the denominator.
x plus 5 right brace
Minus.
dash
Now you're going to start another fraction.
backslash F R A C.
Numerator,
Left brace 2 right brace left brace
denominator.
x dash 1 right brace
$.
$.
Okay, so, and then it goes like that for fractions, and the fractions come out very well. All right?
3 plus 5 over x.
All right, so if you're in doubt, you can either look at your Braille display or you can go back, translate it, and look at the code, and it'll be clear what that is. Now,
The square root.
we're going to do square roots and cube roots, and this is where I get a little bit nervous about the word editor, because if you don't do the spacing correctly, that bar will not cover the radicand, the thing under the radical. In LaTeX, you don't have to worry about it. It's going to be, well, let's hear it first.
3 plus the square root of x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals the square root of left parent x plus 1 right parent squared.
Okay.
The square root of x
Okay,
squared plus
highlight it.
2x plus 1. Selected. The square root of x squared plus
Translate it.
2x plus 1.
Here we go.
Backslash.
Now, SQRT is the syntax. And in this system, anything under the radical, as often, it goes in braces.
SQRT.
Brace.
Left brace x caret 2 plus 2x plus 1 right brace equals backs SQRT left x plus 1 right caret 2 right brace $.
Okay, and you notice I didn't put any spaces anywhere. I didn't space with the equal sign, nothing. You just go. And when you translate it, the spacing is correct.
Dollar.
Okay.
Cube root of 6.
Now the cube root is similar. I'll let you hear it.
Dollar back. Cube root of 16 equals cube root of 8. Cube root of 2 equals 2 cube root of 2.
The cube root of 16 equals the cube root of 8 times the cube root of 2. I didn't put the times sign in, I could have. Equals 2 times the cube root of 2. And for the cube root, just so you know, when you need the index of the radical, that little 3, that has to go in square brackets. So it's...
Selected. Cube root of 16 equals cube root of 8. Cube root of 2 equals... Dollar backslash SQRT. Left bracket, 3, right bracket.
Okay, so in the square brackets, you must put your index of the radical, and the radicand goes in the braces, just like before with the square root.
Left brace, 1, 6, right brace.
Etc. And it goes on like that. Okay.
X equals...
Now here's the classic quadratic formula. Denise did this. Again, no spacing needed. Here we go.
X equals fraction. Selected. X equals fraction, comma, negative b plus or...
Let me let you hear it.
Dollar back. X equals fraction, negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4c over 2a.
Okay, now, you could have some confusion there because it didn't say n square root, and it didn't say divided over 2a. It did say over 2a. But again, the student can look at their Braille display, or the student can back translate it.
Selected. X equals fraction, comma, negative b plus or minus the...
Here, look at...
Dollar. X equals backslash FRAC.
There's my fraction.
Charlie.
Now, what's the numerator?
Left brace.
Okay, now it's minus b.
Dash b.
Now, it's plus or minus.
Bravo.
That has a command backslash PM.
Backslash PM.
Now, after that...
Mike.
I space, because, you're taking a command and you're going to play with another command, so you want the software to understand that that's on its own.
Space, backslash.
Now square root.
SQRT.
Brace.
Left brace.
B squared minus 4AC.
B care 2 dash 4AC.
And the square root.
Right brace.
And the fraction.
Right brace.
Then and the fraction and the numerator. Now do the denominator.
Left brace 2a, right brace, dollar.
Okay. So now let's get to...
Blank. Entry summation.
Let's get to sums. And as you get more advanced mathematics, you really want to be able to do all of these symbols. I'm sure you can, of course, you can do it in the editor as well. Here is...
Blank. Entry summation with I equals 1 beneath, centered, and 5 above, centered, x sub I.
The sum I runs from 1 to 5 of x sub I, or I equal 1 to 5 of x sub I. You're adding 5 numbers, x's, whose index is x sub 1 to x sub 5. All right, so...
Selected. Entry summation.
Now.
Dollar. Backslash SUM. Underline.
Okay. Now, the I equal 1 is below the line, so there's your underline.
Left brace.
And there's more, because there's more than one character below the line, you must put it in braces, because we have to tell the software that everything that follows between the brace is below the line. So brace.
I equals 1.
Close brace.
Right brace.
Now we're going to go above the line.
Caret. Left brace. 5. Right brace.
No, I put the 5 in braces because I wanted to make sure.
X. Underline. I. Dollar.
And there you go. And you get the sum. Now, I believe there's something real special about that backslash SUM, because it knows to center and everything looks good. So that's kind of special. It's really not like x sub 2, if you know what I mean. All right, because it's the position of that sigma. All right, now.
Blank. Limit with n.
We're going to do a little calculus. We're going to take a limit. So let's hear it first.
Blank. Limit with n rightward 0 infinity beneath, centered, and 1 over n.
The limit, as n approaches infinity, of the fraction 1 over n. So,
Limit with n rightward 0 infinity beneath, comma, comma, centered, comma, and 1 over n math content.
yeah, I don't know what, just, well, if it puts in these little commas, just right up arrow and down arrow, so you get rid of that. So I'm gonna select.
Limit with n rightward 0 infinity beneath, comma,
I didn't
comma,
do it that right.
blank, blank. Limit with n
There we
rightward
go.
0, limit with blank, limit with selected,
go.
limit with n rightward dollar, backslash, L-I-M,
Okay, there's your limit.
Mike, underline, left brace,
Now, remember, what's below the line is more than one character, so we need a brace.
N, backslash, T-O,
Now, this backslash TO
Oscar.
is curious. It's not really documented a lot, but we found it. So the backslash TO seems to put our arrow in, so n approaches infinity. Infinity is backslash INFTY.
space, backslash, I-N-F-T-Y, right brace,
Okay, now we're done with that structure. Now we need our fraction,
backslash, F-R-A-C, left brace,
numerator,
1, right brace, left brace,
denominator.
N, right brace, dollar,
And there you go. And then one last one.
blank. Integral subscript 0 superscript 1 x squared dx equals 1/3.
Okay, the integral from 0 to 1 of x squared dx is 1/3. And you use the same structures, but you use your backslash int for integral. Let's do it.
Selected, blank,
Oops.
blank. Integral subscript 0
Get it.
blank. Integral subscript
Let's
0
highlight
super
it.
selected. Integral
And
sub
now translate it back.
blank. Dollar backslash int underline 0 caret 1 x caret 2 dx equals backslash frac left brace 1 right brace left brace 3 right brace dollar. Backslash int underline 0 caret 1
There's your from 0 to 1.
x caret 2 dx equals backslash frac left brace 1 right brace left brace 3 right brace dollar.
Okay.
Limit with x rightward 0 0 to the power of plus beneath centered
Okay,
x
and this is just another limit as you're approaching 0 from the right. And all I did there was put the superscript plus sign in that. It's very similar to that last example. Now, if you put in Word right now in JAWS, it's not fixed. If you put anything in a heading, the math will go away. So if you're writing a test and you want your numbers as a new heading, you better put heading, let's say you're going to do a heading 2 style, and you put number 2 period. You better go to a new line. If you want to indent, go ahead and tab in, and then put your math. Otherwise, the math will, JAWS, it will look like there's nothing there. It isn't working in headings. NVDA is working in headings, so just be careful of that. There's one more thing I want to show you. Is wonderful. You can actually offset an equation. Instead of doing the dollar sign to delimit the equation, you're going to use a backslash left bracket and backslash right bracket. Watch.
blank. Offset example colon let.
Now there's let on one line, and now look what happens.
Y equals x squared. We know that this is a quadratic function whose graph is a parabola opening up.
Okay, so the y equals x squared is, in fact, offset.
Y
And I'm
equals
going to
let.
take this whole thing a minute and show you what's nice. You don't have to do anything. You can just write along, da-da-da-da-da. You don't have to go from one line to another. Watch this. This is so cool.
L. Lima.
Let's highlight it.
Selected, period. We know that this is a quadratic function.
Now, look at the code here.
Offset example colon let, E-T, space, blank, tab, backslash,
Oh, it didn't undo.
tab, blank, space, T, E L.
You know what? To make
Lima.
it easy,
Backslash.
let
We
me
know
just
that blank.
show you how to do it. I'm not going to watch. I can do this. I can say let y,
Y.
let backslash left bracket y equal x to the third, backslash right bracket, period. And then I can say this is a function of degree 3, period. And now I can come here, and you see I've written it all on one line. I didn't bother to do any tabbing, nothing. And I come over here
L.
and I highlight it.
Selected. Let backslash left bracket y equals x caret 3 backslash right bracket period. This is a function of degree 3 period.
Translate it.
Selected. Let y equals x cubed. We know that this is blank. Let y equals x cubed.
There it is.
This is a function of
And
degree
that's
3.
quite nice.
Blank. MathType with LaTeX.
Okay.
Blank.
Now, let me see what else. I had a few notes. Okay. You don't have to translate every equation or function as you do it. You can do your whole paper, then do a Control A to select all, and then do your Alt backslash to translate the whole thing. So if you have all your $signs properly coded, do an Alt A, Alt backslash, and it'll come out with the proper math. Or if you want to proofread your work, you can highlight it all with Control A, and then or highlight it in any way you like with your mouse, and then Alt backslash, and it'll come back. All right, what else do I want to tell you quickly? Let's see. Oh, when you install MathType, it may happen that you don't see, when you start Word, some people are having trouble getting MathType to show on the ribbon. Do an Alt Y1 or an Alt Q and bring it up. We're working with Whereas to understand what the problem is. I'm using version 6 of MathType. I'm not having a problem like that, but some people are. And now I did we're going to be putting up in the cloud. So with the YouTube, you're going to have in the description the links. The links will indicate, will show the examples that we have here, and will also show the code that is used with these examples. That will be linked in the description on YouTube, and will point to somewhere in the cloud so you can get all of that. There is a video that I did, and it is called
MathType with LaTeX for Advanced Math Using Word for Blind Students.
MathType using LaTeX with Advanced Math for Blind Students, and it's on Dr. Robinson's YouTube, and that link will be there.
HTTP.
It is here if you want it, but it will be indicated.
Bottom of
Now
file.
I'm going to indicate my email address. My college email, here it is, EDOANE for Elizabeth at hcc.comnet.edu, or you can say Betsy Doan at yourtechvision.com. And I think that's all I have. If there are any questions, I would entertain them at this point.
Task switching. New share left.
Sounds good. I think we're ready for Campbell. And as you guys,
Remote control
Let me
button.
stop sharing just a minute.
yep, go ahead. And Campbell, go ahead and start sharing and show how to graph using all this wonderful math.
Okay, do you want my video on?
We better keep it off
Okay.
based on our bandwidth issues thus far. Yep. And so go ahead and share screen and give sounds.
Meeting controls.
All right, are you getting it?
Yep.
Okay, cool. All right, so my name is Campbell Rutherford. I am a student intern with Tech Vision, and I am a high school student who loves math, and I hope that I can help other blind students enjoy math as well. So I'm going to show you all kind of how to tie all of this together with graphing. So I'm going to show you a function that I've written in Word and the properties of that function. And then we're going to go graph that function in Desmos, which is an online graphing calculator. And then we're going to paste a picture of that graph into Word. And this is ideal when you're working on functions for school, if you need to submit an assignment to your teacher with the graph of a function. It's really nice to put all of the properties in writing, like the intercepts and any places where the function is not defined. It's nice to put that in writing so that your teacher knows you understand what you're graphing, but then you can also put a picture of the graph in there and it kind of ties it all together. So I'm going to Alt-Tab to my Word document and we're going to look at my example.
Task switching. Desmos vertical bar graph. Desmos examples dot docs dash word. Desmos examples dot docs dash word. Edit.
Okay, let me make sure I'm at the top of my file. Okay, so I'm just going to control down arrow here so that anyone who can't see this knows what I have here.
Math content F left parent X right parent equals fraction 1 over X minus 3 plus 1.
Okay, and I have written this in LaTeX. So I have f of x equals 1 over x minus 3 plus 1, which some of you may know is called a hyperbola. So now let's look at the properties of this graph.
Domain colon all real numbers. Math content X not equal to 3.
Okay, because x is not defined at 3, that's why I say x not equal to 3.
Range colon all real numbers. Math content Y not equal to 1.
Okay.
X dash intercept colon X equals 2. Y dash intercept colon math content Y equals 2/3.
Okay. And I put the y equals 2/3 in LaTeX so that it would look right. But I put my x equals 2 was just in plain text because you don't necessarily need LaTeX in that case.
Asymptotes colon X equals 3. Y equals 1. Blank.
All right. So that's the end of my properties of the graph. And so now I'm on the bottom line of my page so that I can paste a picture of the graph that we're about to do into Word. So now I'm going to Alt-Tab to Desmos, and I just have it open in Chrome.
Meeting controls. Desmos vertical bar graphing calculator dash Google Chrome. Desmos graphing calculator. Expression list complementary region. Expression 1 colon edit. Type in text.
Okay, so it says expression 1. So I'm actually using my Braille display here. So I'm going to type in
Y quote Y space quote Y quote equals space quote Y quote equals. You need something on both sides of the apostrophe equals apostrophe symbol.
Okay, and it gives you really good feedback. It says you need something on both sides of the equals symbol. So let's do 1
slash over
slash
quote Y quote equals start fraction X quote X dash minus quote Y quote 3 quote Y quote equals start fraction 1 over quote X quote minus 3 end fraction as graph to audio trace press Alt plus T.
Okay, and so I stopped because I wanted you to hear it say start fraction, end fraction. That is our whole fraction, but we also want to add on the plus 1 at the end. So I'm going to right arrow to get out of my fraction.
After start fraction 1 over quote X quote minus 3 end fraction.
Okay, so now I'm going to just do plus 1 here.
Plus 1 quote Y quote equals start fraction 1 over quote X quote minus 3 end fraction plus 1 as graph to audio trace press Alt plus T.
Okay, and it clearly tells you that the plus 1 is outside of the fraction. So now if you were paying attention, you would have heard it say to audio trace plus press Alt plus T. So I'm going to do Alt T to get into audio trace mode, and then I'm going to do H so that I can hear the graph.
Alt T audio trace on U0H.
Okay, so you may have noticed that the graph is in 2 parts here. We have the left side of our hyperbola and then a space where it's undefined. The graph is undefined, so you just hear white noise. And then you have the right side of your hyperbola. So before we take a closer look at that, I'm going to Shift Tab and Tab to look at our points of interest, which in this case are just going to be our X and Y intercepts. If you had like a sine or cosine function or maybe a parabola, you would have your extrema, like your minimum and maximum, labeled here as well. So you could just tab or shift tab directly to those.
No more points of interest intercept at x:0, y:0.667.
Okay, so there's our y equals 2/3 for our x, for our y-intercept, I mean.
0 at x:2, y:0.
Okay.
No more points of interest 0 at x:2, y:0.
Okay, and it clearly says no more points of interest at x:2, y:0. So now I'm just going to right arrow down this graph, and we're going to see if we can find the place where the graph is undefined. And it's really nice that you can audio trace this graph because you're kind of using it to confirm all of the properties that you've already written down in your Word document. So I'm just going to right arrow here.
x:2.2, x:2, x:2.8, x:3, y:undefined.
And you heard it get lower as we went on, the tone, or the pitch of the tone get lower because our y value was decreasing. And then you heard it say x:3, y:undefined, and that is our vertical asymptote. And so if we right arrow one more time,
x:3.2, y:6.
you see that the function is now defined again. So it's just at that vertical asymptote, x equals 3, where the function is undefined. So now that we've gotten a nice look at our graph, I'm going to take a screenshot of the graph and paste it into Word. And today we started having an issue with Desmos that made it to where apparently the calculator keyboard is showing up on my screen. Ordinarily, this would not happen. Hopefully this will be corrected. Dr. Robinson, is it doing it right now?
Yes, it is. Yeah,
Okay.
This has never occurred before. Everybody, if you're visual, you can actually see the pop-up of between, it was the calculator and then she did Alt-T and it changed from calculator to here, graph and all the volumes. This has never occurred. This is a hiccup. So we will, and actually Professor Betsy is good friends with them because she's done a lot of work with Desmos. And we will contact them and this will be corrected and then this keyboard will go away and the whole screen is always visual. So a print screen is just absolutely the fastest way, or an alt print screen will take just a shot of this and it will make a really clean graph, much faster. You can also download a copy, it just takes longer. And that's on our YouTube channel on how to do that with more steps, but print screen is just so much faster. So yes, onward ho, Campbell.
Okay, so as Dr. Robinson said, I'm going to do Alt Print Screen, and this is going to take a screenshot and copy it to my clipboard. I actually did not know that it copied it to my clipboard the first time I did this, so I was searching everywhere in my File Explorer trying to find the picture. I was afraid it hadn't worked, but it just copies it to your clipboard so you can paste it into Word. So I'm going to do Alt Print Screen.
Alt Print Screen.
Okay, now I'm going to Alt Tab to Word and just paste it in there.
Task switching. Desmos examples. /Word. To move to an item, press the arrow key. Edit.
Okay. So Control V to paste.
Paste it from clipboard.
And this is actually a pretty big picture. I think it's about the width is about 6.5 inches. And ordinarily I would resize this. I'm not going to do it right now because Dr. Denise has plenty of videos on her YouTube channel, including ones about resizing these pictures. So to save time, I'm just going to leave it as is right now. And as Dr. Denise said, there is a way to actually you hit the share button in Desmos and then you can export your picture and download it and then just paste it into, and then just insert it into Word. However, there are videos on the Tech Vision channel about how to do this as well. So I am not going to go through it right now because I want to save time.
Desmos vertical meeting controls.
So, Dr. Denise, is there anything else that you need me to cover?
I think this is good. If people want to, there is a couple questions. It says, does JAWS have to be on to hear the graphs? Yes, or a screen reader. You have to have the screen reader on. And also someone mentioned about the insert for when you do commands, with any screen reader, you have to hold the first key down before you do the second, and then you let both go at the same time. I'm thinking you got it just a number 4 is because it did not see the insert. So hold the insert, then do 4, and then get it. And as Professor Betsy said, we will put, I will put all of this, I'll put a link, a hyperlink in the description on the YouTube video that's doing a live recording right now. And you'll be able to go to that link and it will take you to our actual website where all of it will be on the cloud and you can just download a copy of all of our examples. And Campbell actually has a lot more than this, so you're going to get her really extensive sheet of commands also, and then you guys can actually play around with what we've demonstrated before you can start doing your own. I will also put more links in there with all the other LaTeX commands on websites, and there's a lot. There's a lot.
Could I just take a minute?
Absolutely.
And thank you. I forgot to mention that with the LaTeX in Blackboard, you know, I did the $sign. If the amazing thing, if you go to Blackboard, those of you familiar with it, you have an option. You can either go into the math editor and do your math normally, or you can go into the text editor. Let me say that again, the text editor. You can take your equations from Word and highlight them, copy it to the clipboard, go up to Blackboard and precede each of them by $signs, end them with $signs. You don't do any alt \, you don't do anything. You just submit from the text editor. You do the submit and Blackboard does all the heavy lifting and it turns into beautiful math and it's readable by JAWS. So you either do it regularly like you're used to doing in the math editor, it won't matter. If you do it in the math editor, JAWS will read it. If you do it in the text editor using the structures I presented with the $signs on each end, JAWS will also read it. And finally, in Canvas, you have to use the math editor. You can't use the text editor. The other thing I wanted to show you, this is the Orion Talking Scientific Graphing Calculator. This is the TI 83 Plus. It talks. This piece up here are the special controls that we use to review the screen, but everything talks. There's a screen. This is your regular calculator down here. Thank you.
And off of that, a lot of people don't know that there's actually a graphic link cable that you can connect to that calculator and to your computer, and you can actually upload every single one of those graphs that you do on the calculator.
Yes, I have that. The problem with, they come up just fine. They're just a little bit small, that's all.
They are
Yeah.
small, but if you
Yep.
have a teacher that says,
Oh, yeah.
they want it. Yeah. So so once again, this is, you want to start them young, get them in Word, and you want a tool that's going to last them a lifetime and take them to that job that they want, because, that's what gives us our dreams and goals, is to go on and do what we really want to do. And so start them young, teach them everything so they can just stay up with their peers. And that is always the goal. Any questions? Anybody who has a question can Alt-A now and unmute themselves and ask a question if you have any.
Alt-S.
This is Tina with a question.
Yes.
I'm working with a college student who is a chemistry major, and I'm wondering if they have those sorts of chemistry symbols in LaTeX where she could do her the chemical equations.
Yep.
And get all the appropriate arrows and everything and all that.
Yep. There is.
And would that be better in MathType, or would that be better in Word's, whatever that editor is you're using?
MathType, really, because you have more control in there.
Yep. And it comes out perfect, Tina. It comes out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And so when you get MathType, so you install it, and then how do you get it to integrate with Word?
It's an add-on, and it is supposed to start automatically in Word. If it doesn't, do an Alt-Y1, or, check with Wheeris. You just write support@wheeris.com. But it's an add-on like anything else. It needs to be in your Word ribbon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Work.
Yep. And it will.
And then you just do the dollars, and then
Yep.
that alt backslash will
That's
convert it
it.
back and forth.
And
Yes.
just make sure you allow
Well,
all your macros.
no, you have to go to preferences, and you have to check the box that says allow translation and TEX. Yes, you do have to check that box. I forgot to say that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
that's really,
Well, thank you.
you're welcome.
That's very helpful. Do you know, I've never actually bought MathType, but how much is it as far as like,
For students, it's
oh my goodness.
20% discount. It's $50 a year. For students, it's $40 a year unless they've changed the price.
Oh, wow. So it's the subscription kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. How would DVR buy that kind of thing? Because they don't do subscriptions. Yikes.
Well, yeah. Well, that's.
Is there a way to purchase it outright? Like,
yes, you can get of course, an institution can get a site license.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they're in college and then have their disability support services look into it, and that should be a reasonable accommodation.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a question from Anne. Can you do all of this on the Focus? Yes, you can braille all of this on the Focus. And like I said, it's a G dot. Oh, you may have missed it. G dot 7 in space turns it on for input. You input all your math, and then G dot 7 in space for on for display, and it reveals it in perfect math.
And your backslash is dots 1, 2, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's neat.
Yeah.
It took me a while. I got the braille display, and the big thing in my head was how to do the math with it. And within a few hours, that's what I did. I played with it. I'm more of a computer type than a braille display type, and it was fun.
Yeah, but everybody's different. Most of our
Yeah.
kids, they want everything in braille.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it'll just come out once you've done the input with the backslash, the backslashes, and then the
yes,
braces
I
and right braces
actually
and all that.
actually demonstrate all of that in that video that I did that I mentioned.
Yeah.
It's all done. I did it.
Wow.
I've demonstrated all of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you switch it back, it just shows it up in Nemeth code?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to see that. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, what's nice is everybody can start with the free editor that's built in Word. Well, if they're young, if they're older kids,
Yeah, right.
college, you need to go right to MathType.
Right.
Okay. Fair
Older
enough.
kids need to go right to MathType. Yeah.
That's what the engineers are using also on the internet. It is the gold standard on the internet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that is fantastic. Thank you very much. I will pass that on to the student I'm working with. That is terrific.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
So back in the day before there was the digital stuff, this is kind of unrelated, but like, how did you grade like assignments from students? Like, it's just something I'm interested.
I always had Are you asking me how I graded this student?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, I always had a person reading what I did is I took my work, I wrote it out every single step with point values along the side in brackets so that the grader knew exactly the reading, only the mechanics of what I prescribed.
Wow.
So every step was written out, and if there was to be partial credit, there were partial credit indicators along the right side.
Wow, that is really impressive to think that was.
That's what I did.
Wow.
Well, yeah, and before we didn't always have that, so I used various techniques. There was one technique I found a gentleman at Google who was doing a PhD thesis and actually wrote a compiler, and the compiler did exactly what this does. He used LaTeX. I actually loaded the compiler and it checked the syntax, and I could actually do a PowerPoint with this thing. You can't do a PowerPoint with MathType because they haven't built in the translator. They told me they didn't think we needed it. Well, yeah, we do, but they haven't built it.
But it works in Outlook.
What do you know?
Well, the the word editor works in Outlook.
Yeah, the word editor works in Outlook.
Not
We need something more advanced, and we need it everywhere. You know, it's just making changes.
That's all.
Making changes.
Yep.
Yeah. Any more questions? And of course, you've got our emails, our tech site, yourtechvision.com. We're all on there. You can email us easily with any additional questions also. And of course, our YouTube channel, pretty massive. It has hundreds and hundreds of video lessons on there with just about, and if you can't find something, just ask and we'll create a video on it.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I have a 13-year-old who's in 7th grade, obviously not college, but she's really struggling with math. And so I came on here to try and get some ideas for her, but I'm afraid everything went completely over my head. But we do have an IEP meeting coming on Wednesday. Is this something that I should be asking for like already, or should I be waiting, or what are your thoughts on that?
Where's her skill level right now? Where's her understanding? Does she at least understand fractions like 1/2 plus 1/4 is 3/4? Does she understand that?
She does. She struggles. She didn't learn Nemeth until last year, and it was taught to her by me while I was learning it because the school refused to teach her. And so she's gaining skills, but she definitely hasn't mastered them yet.
Is she using technology at all?
She did just get introduced to a Polaris starting this year. But she has not done any JAWS or anything on the computer other than touch typing.
So let me tell you an advantage of combining a computer with a braille display and screen reader is it can basically help teach the child. Because we have children who really struggle with a math concept, but as soon as you work with them on the computer with a braille display, and they can either type it out and listen to it or braille it out, depends on where their strength is. So they can be brailing the Nemeth out, and the talking software, of course, will tell them what they're doing so they can make easy corrections to it. It really kind of teaches them. Now she's probably at the all equals stage where you can use the word editor and start with the basic MathType concepts. But I would say fairly soon she needs the MathType. What you can do, see, we pair with school districts, Karen. You're not the only TVI that's in the process of learning. TVIs, it's a very interesting status is TVIs are expected to know absolutely everything. And in the real world, you have English teachers teaching English and math teachers teaching math. And, to go into a district there, you're trying to teach the code and you have to be able to apply it. So you have to kind of know the math also. But that's where, and we're not the only team that does this, but so we team with school districts and the TVIs do what they do the best. And then we come in and we teach you along with this child. We're actually teaching the child, and the TVI learns right along with the child. And then it allows the child to move at a faster pace, and then the TVI can learn along with them. But it's just kind of changing the whole concept in the school districts of how to really train these students. And it's bringing in specialists who can work with a student while teaching the TVI. Like on our team, we have specialists of all kinds. So no matter what the need is, they can enable the TVI and the child to learn at the level they need to. Because you do not want to ask for something you cannot teach, and if you don't have that support in place yet. I know I see several other tech instructors on here. It's finding those people that you can team with to get this child moving. Because it is very difficult for a TVI to know absolutely everything. It is.
Okay, so I'm actually the parent, not the TVI. So how would I
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So how would I get like her TVI in touch with you guys?
You can just hand out, I'm Denise M. Robinson at yourtechvision.com. If you want an easier one, my personal one is Denise Rob at gmail.com. So DENISEROB at gmail.com. And yeah, so the parents understand, yeah, TVIs don't have all the skills. And so it's teaming with the TVI so they can do what they do the best. And then we come in and teach the child, get them child moving, and then train the TVI along with, yeah. And a lot of parents want to know this also. So the parents, anybody's welcome to join in on any of the virtual instruction. And we've been doing virtually, I've been doing virtually since 2007, and the team has really started to grow since 2010. And we are pretty huge. We're across 6 time zones now in dozens and dozens of school districts and colleges and voc rehab. So it's getting the people, yeah. So you can just get the TVI in touch with us or the special ed director, and that's what we do. Yep. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no more questions, this is on YouTube and I will post all those additional links. Give me a couple days to get all of it together and uploaded to the cloud. And then I will put those links on the YouTube video also, okay? Thank you, everybody, for joining. We hope this was very informative. And this was basically an introduction. We, of course, did not go into a lot of detail. We just wanted you to understand really what your students can be doing. And they can do everything that everybody else is doing, even in math. Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye.